San Diego State lecturer, Wendy Patrick. Wendy, good morning. Always great conversations when you come in here. I'm excited to see you. I wish it was on different terms. I mean, we're talking about something that is scary. When I woke up this morning driving to work, I'm thinking, this guy's still out there.
Yeah, one of the things that everybody is sort of on edge about is when you have former employees that sort of take the law into their own hands in dealing with the way they feel about their firing. It really affects all of us. You know, it's not only affected his colleagues, his former attorney, but really the community at this point. You're right.
I think probably, I mean, this is just a guess, but most people at home, when they heard about this happening, had to think about their own workplace.
Yes.
And maybe somebody that you're thinking, maybe like how do I talk to this person from now? Because you just don't know. This is somebody that was in the military, a police officer,
right.
Somebody that you were supposed to trust.
That's right. And this is an example of one of the things employers are looking at as to how can we not only know which of our, God forbid, if any, current employees might be dangerous, but what about those that we're getting ready to terminate for whatever reason? Many employers have used examples like this to really re-examine their own hiring and firing policies, not only to determine whether we make sure we use consistency when employing the rules and when really deciding who to fire, but also is there anything that's being exhibited in the workplace now that will give us some indication who might, God forbid, turn into a Christopher Dorner if we have to let him go? You know, this is an example of the fact that in today's world, for both men and women, one's identity is often wrapped up in our occupation. Sometimes employers don't appreciate the extent to which that's true. I mean, the rules are the rules, don't get me wrong, but as far as looking at how we are letting someone go, is it possible to terminate an employee without ruining that sense of identity? Is it possible to terminate an employee with making sure you've done everything you can, depending on the reason the person's being fired, obviously, to make sure we don't fuel this kind of vendetta?
The LAPD is now reopening the investigation, from what we're understanding, into Dorner's firing. What does this say? Why would they do this now? And then are they sending a message?
Well, I think they've made it very clear that that has nothing, they're reopening it has nothing to do with any of Dorner's manifesto. But looking at that issue in general, you know, when employers are terminating an employee, one of the things this case is just a reminder of is making sure that due process has been afforded, as LAPD says it was in this case, but also looking at how can we do this without making the employee feel like his or her life is over.
How do you do that, though?
Is there a way we can, you know, there's such a stigma around counseling, that is there a way we can equip the soon-to-be former employee with a way to make sure it doesn't ruin their life? Can we let them go without taking away their sense of identity, their sense of self-worth, their integrity? Right. You know, you see that word just blasted all throughout Dorner's manifesto. How can we maintain an employee's integrity if we decide to fire him? All kinds of employers across the board are looking at this just to make sure that their policies do everything they can to let an employee go with their sense of identity and integrity intact, sense of respect. Because let's face it, people hold grudges. Right? People hold grudges for long periods of time. In fact, that's one of the things you also saw in Dorner's manifesto is he wants an apology for something he was accused of in high school. Most of us don't remember that kind of thing. But we got to remember that some people in our workplaces do. Some people we're going to fire do remember everything that happened to them. They want to keep their good name. They want to keep their sense of integrity, their sense of identity. But we also, as employers, we have to fire people that break the rules. How do we strike that balance?
That's the question. That is the million-dollar question on how to do this. Wendy, it's always great to be here with you. Come back. Let's talk about this more, because I think more and more as we go forward and we talk, you know, all of us, Chrissy, Raul, all of us in here are always having conversations about this stuff, and I'm sure a lot of our friends at home are doing the same.
You bet.
Thanks for being here, Wendy.
Thanks for having me.
Chrissy, we'll get it over to you.